officer fired in connection to Laverne Police Department scandal.
Wasn't she the only one involved?
Reaches a settlement with the city. She will receive $500,000.
What?
She dismissed a lawsuit against the city. Hall and 4 other officers were fired in January of last year after an investigation showed she and other male officers.
Hold on. Let's just, again, I hate watching the news nowadays. I hate it. Because they try and massage the story to make you go along with their weird ass point of view. Did you hear what she just said? I'm about to rewind that motherfucker so you hear what she just said.
Megan Hall, the only female officer fired in connection to Laverne Police Department scandal.
The only female officer fired in connection with the Laverne police scandal. Brother, she was the only woman involved as far as I know.
No, but it shouldn't all the males too, because they took part in it.
Wait for it.
Okay.
Reaches a settlement with the city. She will receive $500,000 because she dismissed a lawsuit against the city. Hall and 4 other officers were fired in
Okay. I see.
January of last year after an investigation showed she and other male officers.
Right. So, let's conclude. She's the only female officer fired because she's the only female officer involved as far as I understand this story. Mm-hmm. She was sleeping with a bunch of different male officers while being married. Mm-hmm. They were talking about it and shit. It got found out. Mm-hmm. Got exposed. Her husband gets found out and embarrassed. He decides to stay with her because he's a fucking weirdo.
Oh, he did?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure, yep. And then she sues because what? What happened? Like, this is the type of shit that's insane to me. Like, she's the fucking perpetrator in this scenario. You can argue the other men are too. Congratulations. But I hate how when women make decisions for themselves, particularly sexually, then later on, we rewrite history and infantilize the woman as if she didn't have any choice at all and that something was done to her instead of her making her own choices. This is fucking insane. She was cheating on her husband with like 5-6 people at work. Mm-hmm. And because it's at work, you people turn this into a scenario where they pressured her and she had no choice and she's a victim. This is fucking garbage. Nonsense. The fuck are you talking about? Nobody with a functioning frontal cortex can sit in front of me and tell me that this makes any fucking sense. Make it make sense to me. She's a victim somehow? Worthy of a $500,000 settlement? Not listen to me. I'm a lawyer, so I understand why they settled this case. Because she sued them for a lot. And procedurally, she may have been able to prove some of the necessary facts in order to make this case a problem for the government. And also, it's a black mark on the entire fucking police department and everything. Mm-hmm. And so rather than going through the trial, having everything brought out into the public, and then with the possibility of still losing, they said for losing way more money, because it's way more than $500,000 she would get for this sexual sort of situation with multiple people at work if they are able to prove that they pressured her in whatever way, right? Or even that there's evidence that they pressured her in whatever way. And remember, this is going to go to the jury. So the jury believes what happened, what is said, could go stupid. They sympathize with her, right? Could go stupid, right? So they probably said, fuck it. They said, fuck it. Rather than pay her $3 million or $4 million, give her $500,000 and embarrass ourselves, trying to defend ourselves. And maybe bring other people who are involved.
Or other things in the police department.
Right, that found out, right. That's another thing. It's like when these people start having to testify about what they did on shift, XYZ, other stuff might pop out that people don't want people to know. Mm-hmm. There's multiple reasons why a case like this would be settled. Yeah. But my point is that despite knowing those facts that I just told you about why you would settle a case like this, which really don't have anything to do with maybe necessarily whether she can prove her case or not, the first thing the fucking news says is the only female officer fired to prime the whole situation as if she's a victim and something was done to her. Nothing was done to you. You were fired along with the other 4 officers for doing shit you weren't supposed to be doing on shift. All of you motherfuckers should be fired.
You know what? I have like a different view on the news, because the news warps basically people's minds. They don't really question and have people think about how things can play out. They just state things that happen and have to be discreet about certain things.
But that's
or
not
just
true.
Like,
it depends on what you're talking about. Because when you,
I guess,
with
yeah.
politics, they do give a point of view. Like CNN and Fox News, they definitely have points of view, right? And they're opposite.
Yeah, true.
And when they're on there, they're telling the facts, but they tell them in a sort of a slanted way that supports their point of view.
Their point of view, yeah, that's true. No, you're right, because there are some that actually do voice
Right.
their opinion about it.
But then there are also those that tell the straight facts and don't say anything else. Like,
Right.
So in my opinion, I don't see necessarily anything wrong with political punditry in that if you are a conservative and you feel like you want to go and listen to Fox News, and go fucking do that. And they will tell the story in the way that you want to hear, and your echo chamber will reflect towards you the way you feel like it wants to, and that's how American politics is. And it's the same way for CNN. If you want to listen to them and you like that slant, then that's what you're gonna get, right? Because you can make a fact look multiple ways depending on how you tell the story and the circumstances on which you reveal and circumstances which you ignore.
Yes.
So, and especially if you're talking to someone who does not understand the full scope of what you're talking about, you can definitely massage their point of view into whatever way you want. And my point is that while that's still kind of annoying when you're getting politics, because you kind of want to get the actual facts, not what you fucking think.
The truth, right.
But that being said, you know, someone with the ability to exercise critical thinking would be able to sort of parse that out for themselves and listen to what the news is saying and then go fact check or whatever, right? But this is a little different because this isn't politics. This isn't something that really is like, this is, bitch, tell me the facts. Tell me what happened. It's a fucking lawsuit about some touching. Tell me the facts.
Yeah.
But instead, I get you literally telling the fact in a way that makes it seem like something happened that didn't happen. She said the only female officer fired. As if she was singled out for being a woman and fired for being involved in this. Right. Or rather that there were men involved who got away or something. Like, nah, the main ones involved and you, because you're one of the main ones, y'all all got fired.
Yeah.
So how is it that you got a valid lawsuit, but the men don't? That makes no sense to me. Like, okay, because one of the men was your superior. I mean, that's probably the source of this lawsuit, like, because one of the men was definitely her superior. Yeah. But then again, like I said, in the beginning, just because you make decisions to sleep with your superior doesn't necessarily mean that the scenario existed where they used your job or whatever to force you into that scenario, circumstantially or directly. That's not necessarily what happened just because it's a superior subordinate relationship. And I hate that motherfuckers be always twisting that scenario into something that makes the subordinate a victim. It's not always the case.
But what happens if the way that she said it is only a way to depict how it was, like she is the only female? So now they have a picture of the scenario.
Because it's not relevant to even say that. Because she's the only female officer fired. Because she's the only female officer involved.
True.
So of course she would be the only female officer fired.
Right.
So you saying that is just you again trying to dog whistle to the people who are like, she's a victim.
But what happens if it was an orgy kind of thing?
She's still one person. She's still one woman involved. That doesn't change anything.
True. Very true.
Had sex on the job and lied about it, but the lawsuit claimed that she was a victim of sexual harassment and that she was groomed.
Of course.
Since the investigation made national headlines, her attorney said she was publicly ridiculed, which made it difficult for her to find a job.
You see what I'm talking about?
Choices you made.
You see what I'm talking about?
The bed you laid in.
Victim. She was groomed. What the fuck are you talking about? She was groomed. She's a fucking adult. What are you talking about? You can't groom an adult. That's bullshit. That's fake.
He gets so mad with that, but he's right.
That's fake. That's not real. She's a fucking whore. That's what she is. She cheated on her husband, and then you change it to she was sexually harassed. And what?
Because let's look at the text messages that were shown.
Yeah, exactly.
There was no literal hesitation from her end, as if she was resistant to doing this.
Listen,
she was full on board. So she was making choices of her own.
We did a video on this when it first happened. And we saw the text messages that were leaked. Yep. She was very aggressive in those text messages. There was no, you got to do this, or there was nothing like that. She had the place, the time.
She
was doing everything, bro.
She knew what she wanted. There was no grooming, because if there was grooming, they'll be resistant to the fact that they don't want to do this thing.
Again.
So stop it.
Again.
Stop it.
Again, using the word grooming is dog whistle bullshit language.
Yeah.
It's believe all women Me Too dog shit language. That's what that is. What are you talking about grooming? You can't groom an adult. You cannot groom an adult. You're an adult.
Like,
You have free will to make you have full capacity to make all choices. There's no such thing as grooming a fucking adult. That's nonsense.
like, let's look at the facts for what it is, and there's a fine line between what people are resistant and against when something is done against their will and when something's made out of their choice.
And they're making their own choices. And she made her own choices here. This is bullshit.
The city did not admit any liability, and health settlement money will not come from taxpayer dollars. We are told the city's insurance provider will pay that $500,000.
Of course it will. That's so crazy. I'm telling you, yo, you can just be a woman
And
do the most egregious, fucking dirty little rat thing ever. She cheated on her husband with the whole fucking police force, embarrassed the fuck out of him. Nobody cares. She just pops up, I'm a victim, and gets a $500,000 settlement.
That's crazy.
Karma's not real. Wickedness gets fucking rewarded every day.
Yeah.
Shit is garbage, son.